Hey guys, welcome back to Yashima Books. My next book that I'm going to talk about is The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. Now, this story, I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. There were some points in it that were a little bit slow and kind of like information dump. You know how those are, where they kind of hit hard on the history or hit hard on the ambiance and the house and the way the city looks and all this stuff, where you're just like, okay, what's going on with the characters now? So you get a little bit of that in the story, but overall you really fall in love with the characters, so it really doesn't matter closer towards the end of the book because you're so entwined with these characters. So the story starts off with this family who, at the start of the family, there are 3 siblings. There's Franny, Jet, and Vincent. Franny is the oldest, and she is kind of like this motherly, sometimes bossy sister to the rest of the other children. And then there's Jet, who is kind of like this free, loving, hoping for the best, always looking for the good in everything type of child, who is really beautiful, but she kind of goes into this thing where she doesn't realize she's as beautiful as she is. So that's one part of her character that you really find and adore, admiration for her, because a lot of times authors write these characters knowing that they look good or knowing that they're beautiful and they do all these things, and they're like, oh, why isn't this stuff working for me? So I think Alice Hoffman did a great job on Jet's character because it seems so real, the amount of her being so internal and just wanting the best for everyone else and thinking of everyone else all the time, that she doesn't really focus on all the great things within herself. Then there's Vincent, who is also a very free spirit, but he's kind of like the flip side coin of Jet, where he's kind of in this angry, confused part of his life where he kind of just goes against the grain in everything. If you say go left, he's going to go right. If you tell him to come in on time, he's going to stay out all night. If you tell him not to do drugs, he's going to do them. So he's trying to find his way by not following the pack. And you kind of get that admiration for him too, because you understand it, where you want to live your life and learn on your own terms. So you have these 3 siblings who have this really bad event happen to their parents, or both of their parents are killed. And also another person in the story is killed. I don't want to tell you who, because it all goes into the storyline of the 3 characters and how it plays out in the end. But the overarching theme in this story is that this family has a curse on them from many, many years ago, where they are cursed with not falling in love. And if they were to fall in love with someone, that person would die. So, of course, over time, they're always telling, their children as they grow up never to fall in love. Don't fall into that trap, because the person that you love is going to be killed and then you're going to be heartbroken forever. So this is kind of what they were raised on too, with all of these rules of how to not use their magic because they are witches. They're not supposed to use their magic. They're not supposed to fall in love. And their parents want them to basically stay in the house and not have any friends and not go anywhere and not live. So, of course, the kids in their own way are handling it the best way that they can. Vincent just goes out and does whatever the hell he wants to do. Jet is very internal and wants to make her parents happy and proud of her, so she listens to them on more occasions. And then Franny is kind of the cynical one, where she's wondering, like, is this curse even really real? So she's kind of not believing in it, and therefore being a bit rebellious in her own way, which is more mental rebellion, whereas Vincent is that physical rebellion. He's going to go out and do exactly what you told him not to do. But there is this mysterious letter that comes in the mail to them. When Franny turned 17, their aunt calls them to their house to learn about their magic. So, of course, Franny's like, this is crap. I don't have any magic. I don't know what they're talking about. Even though she realizes that animals and things like that kind of cling to her and come to her quite easily. And Jet also has not told everyone that she's able to read minds. But they play these little games to kind of show the siblings that they have these skills. And then Vincent also has a skill as well to where people cannot tell him no. He is like, people are drawn to him and fall in love with him so easily, and he's so talented in music and arts, and anything he puts his mind to, he can do. Because he's very talented and people just flock to him. He's got that gorgeous kind of attraction. So they go to the aunt's house to learn about themselves and learn about the history and their magic. Unbeknownst to them, this changes the course of their life. So throughout this time frame, you start to see that Franny is really set up to become the matriarch of the family. She's handling her parents' estate. She's the one making sure that the other kids are okay. So she has a lot on her shoulders, and she doesn't even want to bring love into the equation at all, even though she has a best friend who, as a reader, you know that they're in love, but she denies it, doesn't want anything to do with it. The guy doesn't press it either. They're just basically best friends, even though we can see it that, they need to be together. They're perfect together. And then, the other siblings have their dealings with love as well. Some bad, some funny, and, some just, the curse comes true. And I don't want to tell you for which siblings, but overall, this book was thoroughly entertaining. I love the idea and the concept of it. Alice Hoffman writes her stories with a very kind of poetic sense to it. You get a very good idea of what the ambiance and the city and where they're going. You get all of that and you kind of feel like you're there with them. And she's very good at writing characters and their emotions to where she doesn't tell you exactly how to feel, but you get an understanding of where these characters are and where they're going to go with their emotions later on. Just like a real person would, where they're not going to tell you, oh, I'm hurt right now. They may say something totally different, but you know that they're moving towards being angry because they're hurt. So I think she does a really great job with that. Overall, I gave this book 4 stars. I won't tell you how it ends and whether this curse is ever broken, even though that's kind of what Franny is worried about and wondering if this can ever be broken, and she's trying to change that. I won't tell you if it's broken or not. You have to read it and really see how clever Alice Hoffman is in this one. So if you plan on reading something about magic and witches and love and characters, you will love The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. All right, guys, you can read my review on ragingbookraeviews.com. And it is very thorough in how I felt right after I read this book. And make sure you follow, like, and subscribe for the next one. See you guys.